Welcome to my channel. My name is Happy. I'm the Crafty Chemist, and this is what I colored in January of 2026, the first month of a whole new year. First up, I have a page in Melpomene Chatzipanagiotu's Enchanted Earth. This was, I believe, the first page I've colored in the book, and I chose to color the page with the book opening up to a horse in a field, or I don't know, not really a forest, but one of those like channel things, like, I don't know, drives with the trees along them. My favorite places, actually. I love driving along and looking at those and the sun filtering through there and everything. But I like this one because we're going into the year of the horse in a little bit, and I had gotten some of the color combo books, and so I had taken with me Prismacolor pencils. That was the only pencils that I took with me on a trip to see my parents at the beginning of the year, and I used the Tang Tricolor Pottery colorway from one of the books. I don't have it written down which one it was, but these are the colors that I used for the page, and it's been really helping me to get pages done to just use the colors that I have in this color combo. And I just pull those colors out and I put everything else away, and I focus on getting things done with these colors. So you can see how they play out in here. We have, kelp green down here, and then there's the marine green in the leaves, and sandbar brown on the tree. And I didn't know that if this was really water or anything. I get confused by like bubbles and stuff on a lot of the mythographic pages, or not mythographic, this one is the Enchanted Earth, but mythographic has them in there too, and I colored mostly mythographic for the rest of the year. But I really like how it came out. It's not a color combo I would have picked on my own, and I think it really fit with the theme that I was going for with the page, and had enough color variety that I could color things and shade them, and even mix a few colors together, and the colors look like they make sense. So that was the first page I finished on January 2nd of 2026. And the next book I worked in was Mythographic Wild Winter. This one's a Joseph Kattenbang book, and I've had this one for a few years, but I did 2 pages in here. This one is, I used another color combination from my book, Winter Festivals and Events. It's on page 80, or it's number 83 combo, and it is page 208. And I don't remember which country this one actually was, but I have them grouped by the number of colors that we have here. So there's 9 colors in the color scheme, and you don't necessarily have to use all of the colors that are in these color schemes, but I find, especially with a busier page, that I really need to use that many colors in order to get things the way that I want them to look. So here's the page completed. I did use Neocolor 2's Derwent Drawing and Derwent Lightfast and Derwent Graphitints. I used watercolor pencils. I used Prismacolors. I used, yeah, that looks like it. Oh, and watercolor pencils. I don't know if I said that, but I really liked the lanterns on this page, and there were 2 different colors of red in the color scheme, and you can see that my colors kind of vary a little bit, but they're pretty close to it. So this one's like a bluer red a little bit, and then this one is a warmer red. So I used the warmer red on the lanterns and the cooler red in the background. I used both of the purple colors on the flowers, and then I used the browns on the lion, and I sparingly used the greens for the clothing that the person sitting on the lion's shoulder, and for accents on the lanterns. And again, super happy with how it came out, and it really got me going with using the color schemes. I finished this one on the 9th of January. Also, about this time, we got a puppy. So things got pretty busy, and that was just a little puppy hair there. And I've been spending a lot of time sitting with him and not doing other crafts. So I did get 10 pages done this month. For this one, I used a colorway called Full Moon, and I didn't go very organized with it, but there are 9 colors here. Obviously, very blues and blacks, and there's a little bit of yellow. And I used it to color this snake. And I did this because, you know, that we're ending the year of the snake, and I wanted to have another snake to color. I decided to leave the background completely white, and I used the different colors of blue for the different things, and then the neutrally yellowish colors. I think one was called Yellow Peach, so that's a Starjoy Gold pencil, and I can't even read this other one here, but these are neutral, very pale yellows that I used for this part here. This one may actually be a watercolor pencil because this looks like I've got watercolors there for the glow that's coming around the candles here. So I used one color of blue for the snowflakes, and a different color combination of blues for the crystals, and obviously the snake has blues and blacks. And then we have this candelabra that has the gray colors to it. And I'm really happy with how it came out. I think everything is well defined, even though it's mostly blue. I finished this one on the 6th of January. So I did this one first, and then I did this one here. Yeah, I've got quite a few colored in Wild Winter. Next book I have is Frozen Fantasies. This is a Fabiana Attanasio one, and I believe there's 3 in here. Try to get them in the order that I actually did them. 11. I know there's 3 in here. Okay, so I don't know if this is, no, this is not the first one. Or maybe the other one is in the other book. We'll sit here with this, and I just noticed that I have a little bit of a pencil mark that on here that I kind of want to erase. All right, so this one I used the Japanese book colors, and the octopus page is colored with a color scheme called Colors of the Edo Period. And so I have a pink, there's some of this like dark green color, there's blue in here, there's this more turquoisey color, there's yellows and brown, and then this is also up here with this, so it's a purpley pink color. And the octopus, I decided to make the purple color. The like these are ice cubes, I think, and I decided that they would be like reflecting sort of a bluish green color of the background that I have for the octopus. And I made the shells browns, and the buildings are with the color 8, which was like a night blue color. I have used watercolor pencils, Prismacolor pencils, Derwent pencils. I used the Castle Arts, like the Harmonia set for this because it worked really well for some of the colors in here. And then also a pine green color, which I don't even know if I used it in here or not. It's like a greenish gray color, so it may be hiding in some of this stuff here. This book does have the hidden objects, and so a lot of times I just colored over them like they weren't there. I don't think I even included any of the hidden objects. Oh, I don't know why. I colored that one with that looks like a Graphitin pencil. Or maybe it's a Neil color too. I don't know. But Yeah, see, this has got bubbles in it and stuff, and I never know what to do with the bubbles really, so I did my best. But I'm happy with how it came out. I like the colors. I think this one's got a nice neat look to it, like deep ocean kind of look. I know I have a third one in one of these books, but I'm really not sure which one it is. Of these two mythographics. I didn't see it in the other one. Oh, here it is. I don't know what I did with the color scheme page for this. So this one I finished on January 16th. The octopus one I finished on the 11th. So this one I finished on the 16th. I wanted to do it because of the ice and the ice houses and stuff like that. I wanted a very pastel color scheme. Maybe I kept it on. Yeah, I did. Here we go. It's on the same paper as another one. So I didn't write down the name of this one, but you can see everything is very pastel colored. So I did use the Castle Art Harmonious stuff again for quite a bit of it, and watercolor pencils, and then the Brut Funer macarons that I have, and some Prismacolors. Prismacolors have really great pastel colors, and I just kind of ignored the existence of the hidden objects and just colored over them. Like there's a train there, and then like a jar with a bee on it, and the star thing here. I just colored straight through it and just pretended it wasn't even there. I didn't really have any idea for how to make that less obvious, because I really wanted this to be very, very pale and light and Arctic looking. And so I have a purpley kind of sky and the mountains in the background, and things they shift from purple towards blue as it comes this way. I really put a lot of thought into this. It was hard to get the little otters. I think they're otters, a brown color, but I did use, this is a Derwent drawing pencil and a Prismacolor, and then that one is a Harmonious Colors pencil. And this was a lot of fun. I'm really happy with how it came out, and I still got more little puppy hairs all over the book, but I'm really glad to have gotten a lot of these more complicated pages from the mythographics done. And then this one here I finished on the 13th of January, and it is using it's from the book Practical Color Combinations. It's number 17. It's a colorway called Hawaiian Cute. And so I really use very, very limited number of supplies for this one. I did use, these are Neocolor 2s, and then these are Prismacolor pencils. And then I used a Abier glitter marker that I have, and that's it. This was it for this whole page. This is all I used on here. So I can see that I well, I must have used another Neocolor 2 somewhere in there, because it's kind of grayish up here at the top, or maybe I just mixed in some of the pink. But anyway, I made a little bit of a gradient here. This has got no paint on it at all, because I wanted it to like fade out into just a white sort of thing down here. I made the crystals the lightest pink that was in the color scheme, and then the chameleon is obviously got crystals coming out of it, so those needed to be the same color in my opinion. I made the flowers also matching, because chameleons are going to match their surroundings a lot of the time. But then I also wanted the chameleon to be very bright and to stand out. And I think that because of the saturation and the brightness of the colors here, that it does pop out from the background. And I'm very happy with how it came out. This was a lot of fun to do. Again, it does have the hidden objects. I just ignored them, so there's this one here that's just sitting around, and that one, for this particular page, I just ignored them. So that was 3 pages in Mythographic Frozen Fantasies by Fabiana Attanasio. Then I did 2 pages in Artist's Vault, the Mythographic Artist's Vault. It tends to be, for me anyway, that in January I get really sucked into doing stuff in Mythographics, and this year I have so much fun doing it. I'm sorry about that. I banged the thing. But I had only done like maybe one page in here before these. Those are my 2 that I've done. I think I only did 1 page in here. I can't even find it. Yeah, I did this right after I got the book. So I did this in 2024. I guess I didn't touch it in 2025. And so I did this one here by Fabiana Attanasio. The names of the authors or the artists are over on the left. And again, I used a Practical Color Combinations color scheme. This one was called Wonder Night. It actually, in their example picture, did have Aurora Borealis on it. So this is number 113. It was page 248 in the book. So we have, I didn't put it in order, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. So really what I was doing was just going through my Neocolor 2s. These are all Neocolor 2s here. And then I have also, these are probably, I should have wrote it down, 51. These could either be watercolors or they could be Starjoy Gold. Usually I put a W like this one here if it's a watercolor. So I'm thinking that a lot of them are Starjoy Gold. I do have a Graphitent here. This is what I put for Derwent Drawing on here. See, there's a watercolor. That's a Brute Funer here. So I just go through all of my stuff that I have sitting near me. Actually, I've been keeping it on the dining room table now, much to my husband's displeasure. Going through things. So I did also use some gel pens. That's what you can see here is like they get gooped up with the pencils. So there's a number of gel pens that I use. Prima Rosa, and I used some of the Langau for this one. Oh, and then I also used some woodless colored metallic pencils that I have. So I used a couple of different colors for that, for different things on here. So this is the page. I kept all of the Aurora inside the purpley color that Aurora gets to show that this is usually what's really high up. And so we're kind of giving a purple cast to everything because this is really high up. The ones that are lower down in the atmosphere are green colored for us. And so I made everything kind of have a purpley color here. And then I wasn't sure what to do with the stars. All of the stuff that's randomly floating around, I just never know what to do with. There are hidden objects in this image, but I tried to hide them pretty well if I could. A couple of them that still stick out are the pliers here and a wine glass or a champagne glass up there. But otherwise, I covered them up pretty well with gel pens and just really dark coloring. So what I did was on the background here, I colored it with Neocolor 2, activated all of that, and then colored over it with a Derwent light fast pencil called Midnight Black, and I used a combination of the Neocolor 2 and the Midnight Black to color this background. And that covered up the bubbles that are around that I never know what to do with, and quite a few objects that were just kind of in the sky. I think it made them very difficult to see. So like you can see it over here, I have part of like a shell. You can see the rotation of it, but the black is, it's kind of a darkish blue black, is covering the part up there. So I like how this came out. I think it's really pretty and bright, and I have been like improving on my techniques with using this combination of supplies with the Neocolor 2. And I'm going to keep working on it because I think I'm just going to keep these supplies around and just keep working on things. So that was finished on the 18th. And then I did this page here. And this page is obviously a Egyptian sort of color scheme, so I used one called Egyptian Papyrus for it. And it's not what you would expect for maybe for an Egypt sort of page, but it does have the greens in the background, and then I have this like jasper kind of color here, and then we have the two blues. It had black, which I needed to have in order for it to be an Egyptian sort of thing because of all of the, like, it's, I don't know if it's onyx or if it's just like black enamel of some sort, but there's a lot of black. And then we have the earthy tones here, and this H is for like gold. So this is Neocolor 2s. This is going to be a light fast pencil, watercolor pencil, Derwent drawing, and we got some watercolor in here again. This is a Brute Funer pencil, this is a Graphitint pencil, and some Prismacolor pencils. I think that covers what I was able to do. And then I also added some Langoud gel pen. This was a color called, it was in the warm yellow set, so you can see I was coloring over a lot of things. So again, I was covering up a lot of stuff in the background because there was some stuff in here that I couldn't identify. This one's an Alexandra Fusi page, and so now I've colored one page from each of the three artists in this artist vault because the first one I did was Cat and Bang. And it has the flying objects. This one is pyramids. So I have my pyramids flying around. We have some pyramids down here. Obviously, these are the earthy tones. And then I looked up a few things that said that the Sphinx was probably painted once upon a time. So I went ahead and added color to the Sphinx. And then I really liked these guys here. And so I had a good time with coloring them and getting the scarab beetles just right. So these guys have green scarab beetles with multicolors. I thought about pushing the envelope a little bit and doing in on the fine lines, and I was like, you know what, this is already so busy, and if I go in with black or I was thinking about this rusty color here, then I think I'm just going to make it muddy looking, so I just left it. And then, you know, a lot of the face masks that the Egyptians have on like their tombs that we've seen from the pharaohs have the striped colors here. So I went with blue for the kitty. I like the Sphinx cat in here. That one was, I colored this with a combination of D and E, like just really watery of that, and then did some shading on it. And the eyes are kind of the yellowy gold color with a little bit of the green in it. There were a lot of things to cover up. Like I said, I did it the same way. I put Neocolor 2 on the background. I activated it. I colored pencil, and then I also colored Neocolor 2 over it and kind of made different layers of that. And it smooths out when you use the colored pencil on it. And I really like the way that it was able to cover that all up. There is a lot of water-based things on here. This paper in these books is really good. Nothing comes through, even though I have used a lot of water stuff on it. I did use the gel pen to add in these smoky swirls. That's another thing in Mythographics I'm not always sure what to do with, and sometimes I just cover them up. There actually may be more on here that I covered up because I think there was some sort of flowers over here. But again, has hidden objects and you can't really see them because of how I handled things. So the only one I kept, I think, is this one here, which is like some sort of a beaded bracelet. And I was like, well, that probably goes in pretty well, but like there's a recorder here and there's a puzzle piece here. So most of it ended up covered up pretty well. And I think this, with the high contrast on the colors, is probably my favorite of the month. I'm not sure. It's really hard to say. But that is the last of the Mythographics that I colored. And not that I didn't want to color any more Mythographics. I just wanted something a little bit easier to color. And so I pulled out Fairy Tales and Folklore. I may have to adjust this because This is a taller book, but I hadn't colored in this. I don't think I colored in it all last year. I got it and then I just didn't color in it anymore. So I did these 2 pages with the same colors. So let me make some adjustment here. I decided what I would do is just combine what I was working on with it. So I pulled out my supplies for this. I just kept them out. Oh, that I didn't realize had happened. I may be able to erase that. Looks like a little drop of water got down there, but so I used only the colors that I had pulled out. It does make things a whole lot easier when you're dealing with a puppy because you don't have like big containers of things. You can just plop the pencil back into this little cup we got at a craft thrift store. So that was in Kansas City. I'm looking for some sort of a brush puppy hair out of here. There we go. It's a little bit better. And it's like a kitty mug. It's black, and that's where I've been putting all of my supplies that I have pulled out for these color schemes. So this one's from the Japanese coloring one. It's called Cute Nordic Knit. I think it's from the Japanese one. I don't know. I should write the name of the book on here. And so I picked it because, you know, it fits with the book and the fairy tales and folklore that are inside of the book. Scandinavian, so Nordic, Scandinavian, all sort of the same area. So I didn't use Neocolor 2s again. I used a lot of the Derwent Drawing and Lightfast. I used some Prismacolor. I used some Brut Funer macarons, and it doesn't look like I had any watercolor pencils in here. And then I did use a few gel pens. I used one that goes with this color H and then a lighter version of color A so that I could cover up the snow, or like sort of make it snow over here. So I did this one first. I finished it on the 25th. I did this one and finished it on the 28th, which was yesterday. And this is going to be the last of what I have colored for the month of January. I did use many different things on the wreath, especially here, to get this depth of color that I have going on. So I went ahead and used some darker colors in here. So I based everything with Neocolor 2, and then I color over it with the colored pencils. I'm not exactly happy with how the flowers came out over here. I'm much happier with how they came out over here, although I do like the petal getting very pale pink here, and it's more of a warmer pink here. But I don't like the shading that I did here. And it's fine. I'm going to leave it. It's fine. And I, just used all of this stuff. Every time I do something, I'm just using it as a learning opportunity. So we have, the cute mama and baby deer here. There's gel pen here on the deer, and there's gel pen on the snowflakes. I didn't really want to make the background all that dark. So like the sort of toned in snowflakes worked for me. I didn't want them bright white, and I didn't know what else to do with them. So then, and you can see I didn't use the entire colors, all the colors here. I did use the red, this pink, the 2 browns, the green, and the blue. So I left out these 3 colors here on this page. I didn't use them anywhere on there. But over here, I used them all. So I added in the purple as the background. So we have like snow maybe, and we have the stars. So those are the, those are the blue. That was the A color. Obviously leaves are B colored, and I colored them sort of like I did over here. So you can see some of these are the same shape, and I just carried the technique I used over here over to here. But then other shaped leaves, I added in different techniques. I have, instead of apples on this page, I have mushrooms on this page. So We still have the red elements that got brought over next to it. I don't have as pale a pink. I do have some paler pinks in here, but pink is not as prominent out here, but purple is much more prominent. I did add in the brighter pink into the saddle, I guess you could say, for the moose. I have this thing where I really want to see a live moose. I've been many places where I should have been able to see a live moose and I haven't yet. So I was really wanting to color this page. It was one of the like wish list pages for this book. So I'm happy that I colored it. And I'm okay that I colored it with a matching color scheme for the next page to it. I do need to put a piece of paper in here to divide it because I don't want there to be transfer from one page to another of the colors. I have dividers in this book. I may move one over, but see, I don't want this page to transfer to this page. So that concludes what I've colored for January of 2026. I will be, this is my keeping track of everything. I will be using the color combination books continuing on and mostly the same supplies. I do plan on adding in some more supplies for my coloring in February. I'm also going to focus on fairies and books that start with F, and I will probably pull my horse book back out, and so I'll start focusing on coloring some horses, and I'm pretty excited about that because I haven't been able to color very many horses over the past few years. I can just put this color scheme in here for right now, and then I can figure out what to do later. But thanks for watching. Which one was your favorite? And happy coloring!